I'm Professor A.R. Kaji, Assistant Professor in Silver Oak University. Again, welcomes you all in Node.js lecture series. In last lecture, we already discussed about Node.js environment setup, how to working with Node.js, console-based Node.js, web-based Node.js, and Drupal terminal. Now, in this lecture, we will learn how to serve HTML file with Node.js, concept of routing in Node.js. So let us start. So to work with web-based Node.js, we need to first create a server that will handle the specific request and generate response for that specific request. So this is the code to create a server. So let's try to first create the server. So what are the steps involved to create a server? We need to first import HTTP modules. So for that required keyword is used. We are writing this code. And next step is what? Create server method of HTTP module. We need to invoke create server method of HTTP module. In create server, we will pass the callback function, and that callback function will hold two parameter request and response. And in response object, we are binding the response in a simple text message here. And that create server method is bind with specific ports. Here I am using 8081 port. So let's try practically. I am just opening the VS code. So in D drive, I already created one folder with the name node underscore demo. This is my root folder. I am creating one .js file in that folder. So let me give the name index.js file. So let's try to write a code to create a server. The first step is what? Create import HTTP module. So I'm writing like this way where HTTP equal to require HTTP. Second step, create server method of HTTP module. The HTTP dot create server, and you need to mind this create server method with specific port. For that listen method is used. So write create server dot listen. I am right port number 8081, and create server method we have to write a callback function. So we can write callback function like this way, and in that callback function we need to pass two parameter request and response, and we can bind response with response object. So we can use either write method or end method. The response dot write, I am binding simple text with the response. Welcome in assault. This is simple text that will display as a response of particular request. And I will use response dot end at last. Okay. So let's try to run this code. You can run this code in VS Code from the terminal also. So go to the terminal, new terminal. Let me restart the server, new terminal. We can use node keyword and name of the file, the node index.js. Now hit the enter. So server is started. Now you can access from browser. So let's try in browser. Local host and port number 8081. So you can see the output welcome in Asoi. So our server is started, and server is responding with plain text, that is welcome in Asoi. So this is the code to create a server. Now once we hit the enter, if I write localhost colon port number, and then if I hit the enter, the server is responding with plain text. Now we will discuss how to serve HTML file, how to serve HTML file in Node.js. Let's say localhost 8081. If I hit the enter, I want to display whole HTML page here. So how can it is it possible? So to serve a HTML file, we need to provide content type first. So code is same for that. You need to first create the server, and in response, in that callback function, we will provide response type. So response dot write head method is used for that. Write head. So response dot write head method is used for that. This method provide require two parameter. First status code here, and then content type. Which type of response you want to display. So in content type, we will set our content type HTML. So you need to write this way, content type colon in here text HTML. So this response dot write head specify that we will serve output in the form of HTML. So write head method is used for that. Now to serve HTML file, let me create one HTML file here. So I am creating new HTML file here. Let me give the name home.html, and we are writing some code here. We will use HTML5 format, and I am writing one header, welcome in. I saw it. We take silver of rocks. So this is my home page. I want to display this whole HTML page as a response in Node.js server. Let me save this page. So you need to first provide header response content type. You need to specify the content type. The response dot write head method is used two parameter. First parameter is status code, and second parameter we have to define the content type. So here we are using content type text less HTML, that means HTML. So we can display whole HTML page in response. Now, to read this HTML file, home.html file, we will use fs module. So we need to import fs module, where fs equal to require and fs. So we will call fs dot read file method of this module, read file. This read file method require two parameters again. First, a file that we want to read. So here I am writing home.html, and second parameter for a callback functions. If you try to access home.html, there is a possibility of there is a possibility of two options. Either they will come with data, or there may be a error. So here we will pass in callback function. We are writing callback function and passing two parameters. First one error, and second one data. If home.html, if home.html, if I hit the home.html, then whatever data in home.html, that will be returned. If path is not correct, there may be error. So we will writing two parameters, error and data. And in body, we will use response. We will write like this way: if error, then if error, then we can display response dot write error message. Let's say page not found, page not found, and else we will display the data. That means page. So response dot write, and here we will provide data. And at last response dot end. So this is the code to serve a HTML file. We need a FS module, file system FS module. In FS module, we will use read file method. Read file method, two parameter. We have to pass first path of file that we want to access. And in second parameter, we will write a callback function. Again, callback function with two parameters, error and data. If this file path is correct, we will display the data. If path not found, then we are writing page not found simple message. So let's try to run this code. First, we are clearing the previous one windows. Let's try to run node index.js. Now server is started. Let's try to access from browser. Previous one output was welcome in a, so let's try to again. So here welcome in a, so it output is welcome in Assoid, Silver Oak Rocks, and Based Engineering. This is actually not a, this is not a plain text. Actually, HTML page is running here. So whatever we write in HTML page, whatever we write here, that will be displayed as an output. So in this, we can serve HTML file also in Node.js. So we can create multiple files over here. Let's say I'm creating a new file, contact.html. So if you want to serve this page, then you can write a code for here, contact.html. So contact page will be displayed contact.html. So let's write some text here, HTML5, and simple a header. This is contact page. Save this file. Again, save me this file, contact.html. Now try to run again. I need to restart the server. Once you made any changes, you need to restart the server. New terminal. Okay, now server started. Now contact.html page will be displayed. Just this is contact base. So in this way, we can serve a HTML file with Node.js. Now next concept is routing in Node.js. So this is the code that actually we have implemented. Here I will use sample.html file. So see, I am writing a sample.html, and this is the output of this sample.html file. Now routing in Node.js. The what exactly routing? So routing defines the way in which the client requests are handled. So routing is the way to define how client requests are handled. So purpose of routing is to generate appropriate response for incoming client requests. So whatever request coming, so appropriate response should be displayed for that incoming request. That is the task of routings. And we can implement routing in Node.js also with framework, Express. Generally, we are using framework to route the specific request. That is in easiest way, we can implement the concept of routing with the framework. Now routing without framework. So using the framework is good to save the time, but sometimes this may not suit the situation. So developer may need to build up their own server without other dependencies. So without using any framework, developer have to write the code for a routing. So in next, so here we will use the concept of routing in Node.js. So this is the simple code for a routing. So for routing, again, you need to create a server. We require a file module fs. So actually we want. Let's say if I am writing if I am writing here localhost slash home, so my home page should be display. यहाँ पे home page display होना चाहिए. If I am writing here contact, so contact page must be display. If I am writing here gallery, so gallery page display होना चाहिए. So that is the task of routing. So how to route incoming request and generate appropriate response for that space. For that, generally we are using a framework and a most popular framework Express that we are using, but we can write a custom code for routing. So how to write a code without a framework? So this is the code to deal with the routing. So for that request object is used. So we are like this way. If request.url, the request object is used for that. If request.url equal to slash, that means root folder. I am not providing any file name here. That means what? I am not providing any file name here. Simply localhost and enter. So what I want to display. So here I am writing request.url equal to slash means that what? Welcome in home page. Simply text message. I am displaying simple text message. Then else if request.url equal to pr2. That means I am writing localhost slash pr2. That at that time pr2.html should be displayed. And else if request.url equal to pr9, so pr9.html should be displayed. So in this way we can else if we can handle the number of pages and whatever request coming and appropriate response we can generate with the use of this concept of routing. So let's try to run this code. I'm just copy paste this code. So in index.js page, I'm copy this code and I am changing if request.url equal. So here I am writing default page will be displayed. Else if request.url equal to let's say right here home. I'm writing here home. So if I type in URL localhost slash home, so what should be open to home.html. So I'm writing here home.html. Else if request.url equal to again I'm writing contact. So contact will read contact.html page, contact.html. And if I am writing with the other than home context, so my default message page not found will be displayed. So let me save this. Now I am trying to run this code. Go to the terminal. Let me restart the server. Again, start so node index.js. Now server is started. Now try to run this code localhost 8081. So default page will be displayed. This is this is the code that we write here. default pose. So if I write request.url equal to slash means that means if you not write, if you not made any specific request, then default page will be displayed. Now try to write a home. I am try to opening the home page. Slash home. Let me hit enter. So welcome in a so it's silver or cross. So this is the content of home page. This is the content of home page. Now try to open the contact page. Contact. Hit the enter. So this is contact. This is the content of contact page. And now try to other pages. Let's say contact 2 and hit enter. Page not found. So this code is working here. Else page not found. So in this way, we can create a multiple pages here, home, services, contact, feedback, and from appropriate request, we can bind this whole HTML page to as a response. So this is the concept of routing in Node.js. Now in next lecture, we will learn more about the whatever concept. In next lecture, we will discuss about the JSON, how to work with the JSON in Node.js, as well as concept of Node Package Manager, NPM. What is exactly NPM? How can we import and export MPL modules? So right now we are ending the sessions. Thank you very much.